Hey guys, what's up, how's it going? My name is Rob and welcome back once again to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my monthly update on my Canadian-based dividend investing portfolio. Every single month, I like to do an update on this channel where I show you guys how my portfolio is doing because I think it's really helpful as a beginner Canadian-based investor to kind of see how the stock market works. You know, it's important if you're a beginner to kind of see how stocks go up and down and kind of see what happens when, you know, stocks are growing over time or when a pandemic happens and we see big dips. I think it's super important for people to see that. And I think a lot of you guys get a lot of value from watching these monthly updates. So what I like to do is do one big monthly update once per month, usually at the end of the month, and that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. So if you guys are a beginner-based Canadian investor, you come to the right choice, to the right place. This channel is focused on beginners who are Canadian and you're looking to start that dividend portfolio and kind of see how the stock market works. So in today's video, we'll be jumping inside my portfolio on Wealthsimple. I'll show you guys what stocks I have. I'll show you guys my portfolio values, and I'll show you guys how much dividend income we made on this channel since we first started investing. Now, before we get started, I just want to say really quickly, if you guys want a more thorough explanation of how I've done this and you guys want a complete beginner's guide, I did make a how to invest in Canada and Canadian stocks video that's an hour long. I'll link to the description of this video. There'll also be an end screen if you guys want to click that. That video is an hour long. It's a very, very good in-depth guide if you guys want to get started. So if you guys like this video and you guys want to see a more thorough guide on that, check out that video. There'll be a link in the description as well. So let's jump inside the video. Let's take a peek at the portfolio and let's see how our stocks have been doing for the month of August. So here we are inside the Wealthsimple trade portfolio, like I mentioned, guys. And if you guys haven't noticed already, I'm super transparent on this channel because I really want to show you guys the journey of investing. A lot of people talk about, or there's a lot of content on YouTube that talks about the beginning. They get you kind of started, they show you the end result, but they don't really take you alongside with the journey and show you everything there is, as long as the ups and downs and all the different struggles. And on this channel, I really want to kind of show you guys everything there is to do, because when you're learning something, kind of seeing the way things go over time, it kind of gives you so much value, and you're going to be asking a lot of questions. You're going to have things like self-doubt. You're going to be wondering, am I doing this correctly? Is this normal to kind of feel this way? And these are all the things that I talk about on this channel, and this is why I think it's really good value to kind of see somebody growing a portfolio over time. So we have this simple portfolio here that I started. Now, this portfolio originally did start from nothing at the beginning of 2020. And over time, we kind of grew it. I did make some changes. I did do a big transfer at the beginning of this month. We took a older portfolio that I built a long time ago. We transferred into this portfolio to kind of basically get to the point to, I wanted to kind of focus on dividend investing thoroughly and 100%. So if you guys don't already know, I made a big series on this. There is a playlist of this in the description of this video to show you guys how I built this channel from scratch. We built it from scratch for I think the first a year and a half or so, and then just about a month or so ago we kind of made a bigger deposit. So you know, we really did build this from scratch, and we did build it up, and I have I'll show you guys my monthly spreadsheet where I show you guys the dividend income and whatnot, but we've kind of basically started from scratch, and we made a couple bigger deposits here and there, but you guys can just see the value of how the portfolio has grown over time. So we have $96,000, $97,000 inside of my two accounts here. We have a personal account and a TFSA. So the TFSA is $89,000. This is where the transfer came from. So I basically took my old TFSA, which grew a little bit, put it into this new TFSA, and it looks like I over contributed because of that, but I really didn't. It's just because I did a direct transfer from Wealthsimple Invest, and it didn't kind of calculate it on Wealthsimple Trade. So a lot of the gains aren't calculated in here, so that's why it looks like it's a smaller amount. But we have two accounts here. So the personal account is basically an extension of the TFSA since I am full on contribution room. And one other thing, guys, if you guys want to get signed up for Wealthsimple Trade, there will be some links in the description of this video. You guys can use those links if you want to take advantage of some free offers here. So the first thing we're going to cover is the TFSA because it is the biggest account. So over the past day, the account is up $240, and that would have been Friday since it is Saturday at the time of doing this video. Over the past week, the portfolio is up $92, so not much gain over the past week. Over the past month, it's up 2%, which is $1,476. And I know for some people that might sound like a lot of money. Keep in mind, it's reflective of your portfolio. So if you're just starting out, 2% might just be like $10, might be $5. For example, my girlfriend just started investing. Kudos to her. She has a portfolio of about $2,000, almost $3,000, and I think her portfolio is up like $60, and that's 3%. So obviously the value of your portfolio over time really changes things, but it really does grow. And you'll see when I show you guys how much we were making in the first couple months, it might not be a lot in the beginning, but it does add up. So over the past 3 months, we're up 2,720, which is 3%. Over the past year, we're up 8%, and then all time we're up about that 8%. But keep in mind, I did have about $11,000 worth of gains from my old portfolio from Wealthsimple Invest. So it's not showing that gains here, so just kind of keep in mind, before we made the transfer, we were up like 21 or 22%. So obviously this big transfer we made here, as you can see, with deposit of about $50,000, obviously kind of changed the math on that. So hopefully that's not too confusing for you guys. And here's the stocks inside the portfolio. Once again, we'll kind of go through these really quickly here. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I know the video can get a little bit drawn out and boring, but this is basically a quick little snapshot of my portfolio. And I do have a link in the description of this video if you guys want to kind of, and I believe it does auto update. So you can check that link. It'll show you it on Track My Dividends. I don't update it all the time, but I try to keep it up to date for the most part, and you guys can see all my different holdings here. But the main stocks we have focusing on are some ETFs, and we'll start with the ETFs first, since I think it's important to talk about ETFs. So we have a VDY, which is our Vanguard Canadian High Dividend Yield ETF. This is our main Canadian-based ETF. And then we have VFE, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 US-based Index ETF. And these ETF make up the big chunk of the portfolio. I'm a big fan of ETFs. I think they're perfect for beginners. And that's what I like to focus on. So the main portfolio I'm going for is 60% US stocks in my TFSA, and then about 40% Canadian stocks. So slightly a little bit US, and most of that is because we're focusing on US growth, and we want that growth to be tax-free inside the TFSA. So that's the main thing here. And you guys can see that our VFE is up 4.84% all time. Our VDY is up 6%. Once again, keep in mind, I did make some big buys recently. I did make some big deposits, so a lot of this math is a little bit not reflective. But you'll see the account value grow over time, and it makes a difference anyways. So we have TD, which is going to be the start of our individual stocks, and we focus on, I have a couple individual stocks, some of them a little bit better than others, but they're all pretty good stocks. It's mostly my play money. So I think we have about maybe about $10,000 of these individual stocks when we have about like whatever it is, maybe like 10% of the portfolio, give or take, is individual stocks, and the rest is in ETFs, and that's what I like to do. So TD we have here is up 20%. I love TD. TD is my favorite bank stock. We have $2,000, $630. So a little bit of TD. We do hold the bank stocks and some of these ETFs as well, but TD is my favorite bank, so I like to kind of double down on it. I think it's a great bank stock to get started. Next up we have is TELUS. TELUS is my favorite telecommunications stock company in Canada. It's a very good, consistent growth-based stock. We have 7.61%. And once again, this is mostly just play money. If they grow over time, that's great. If they don't, that's okay. Our ETFs will kind of make the difference. But, you know, as you guys can see, because I'm picking good quality stocks, they will grow nonetheless. Severia Corp is actually one of my biggest earners over the past year or two in the side that's portfolio since the pandemic. It is a health-based accessibility company, so they make medical equipment and different things like that for people who are disabled, older folks and stuff like that. So obviously the pandemic kind of, you know, brought, you know, kind of some of those healthcare stocks kind of benefited from that, and we've seen that, you know, that elderly care kind of pick up with people. So we have 21 shares. Unfortunately, I didn't buy a ton because it wasn't like a super big buy inside the portfolio, but it is up 34%. So it is a pretty good stock, and it is a monthly dividend stock. The theme here with this portfolio is dividend stocks. We do have some growth-based stocks, but most of the growth stocks are like higher dividend growth-based stocks in a sense where they're growing that dividend really aggressively. So it's either they're a stock that has a good yield already and they have growth, or they're a stock that has a lot of growth with good dividend growth. So it's one or the other. So we have the stocks with the higher yields for the short-term dividend increases and the consistent dividend yield for today. And then we have some of the more growth-based dividend stocks for the future, for when those dividends from those companies grow over time. And that's the whole point here. Some of them are monthly, some of them are quarterly, but you guys kind of get the point. TransAlta Renewables is our next stock. I bought this a little bit. I'm not going to be buying too much of this because we do have a lot of utilities and different energy-based companies in the ETFs, but I do like this company, and it's up 15% all time. It's also another monthly dividend stock, but I didn't buy a ton because it's not as super well known, and it hasn't been as consistent as some of the more traditional stocks that I have inside my portfolio, but nonetheless, renewable companies kind of seem to be doing pretty good as of late. Next up we have is RioCan. This represents most of the REITs inside this portfolio. I bought a lot of REITs because they took a big dip throughout the pandemic, and I'm basically just waiting for them to recover here. We're up 24%. I probably will hold RioCan inside the portfolio and add it a small percent just to get that monthly income and to get exposure to real estate. But I might sell like H&R REIT at some point and put it into RioCan just because I like RioCan. I think it is one of Canada's best REITs. And as they recover, I think it'll do pretty good. And we have already seen some pretty good gains from RioCan. Next up we have is Manulife. Manulife is an insurance-based company. They're actually my insurance-based provider as well. They're a really big financial company. They had really good earnings for the past couple years. They've been a bit of a dip recently because they had a big jump at the start of the pandemic or towards the end of the pandemic, but we're starting to see that level off. Nonetheless, it's still up 12.5% in the past year and a half, which is pretty solid for a Canadian stock. I should expect to see Manulife kind of kick back up over the next little while. Next up we have is H&R REIT. H&R REIT is just another REIT I bought just to kind of have a little bit of diversification inside the portfolio. I'm once again just kind of waiting for the REITs to recover, and then I'll most likely sell them. Going upwards, we have Fortis. Fortis is kind of one of my more favorite energy-based companies. You know, there's popular ones, there's Enbridge, there's all kinds of different ones. I like Fortis. It's consistent, it's conservative. They have good dividend growth, and they're not super aggressive in terms of debt and different things. So good, consistent, long-term based company. That's a lot of the theme inside my portfolio. I'm about consistency, I'm about growth long-term, and I want to see results. You know, I'm an investor, and that's kind of what I like to teach people is the content on here is for people who want to see results. So if you want to see growth, you want to see income, you want to be safe, and you want to like know that, you know what, I'm willing to take on a bit of risk, but I want to buy stocks that are actually going to grow. That's the whole focus here. CNR, I haven't bought too many shares of CNR. It's a great company, and I will be buying more. We've seen a bit of recovery from them, and I probably will most likely add some more as time goes on. Next up, we have ATD.B, one of my more favorite recent companies. It is up 6% as of recently. They've been doing really, really good. We haven't been buying too many stocks, too many shares of this. It's more in the personal account, and I'll give you guys a quick update on that. But we do have 29 shares. This is more an example of a growth-based dividend stock. So lots of growth, low dividend yield, but they're aggressively growing that dividend. So, you know, long-term, it's going to really start to add up. And then you have AQN, which is Algonquin Power and Utilities. This is another utility-based company. Bit of a dip recently, but a good company nonetheless long-term. So that's the TFSA. Going inside the personal account, we're focused more on dividend stocks inside this account because the TFSA is focused on growth, tax-free growth. This is going to be where more of the dividend stocks come in. So over time, I will be focusing more on dividend stocks inside the personal account. And it's pretty much the same stocks. Nonetheless, we have the same ETFs and whatnot, but we've invested more recently. So you can see like the percentages are a little bit different depending on how much we invested, right? And how much we've been actively buying. So nonetheless, the same stocks, just a little bit different in terms of growth, but we're just kind of basically mimicking the TFSA with maybe some more dividend-based focused stocks inside the portfolio. Now that's the stocks. Let's take a peek at the dividends. I'll show you guys a quick example of the dividend payments we've been getting so you guys can see if you're new to Wealth Simple Trade or you guys want to see, you know, to kind of see how this whole thing works. So go inside here, I'm going to select all accounts. I'm going to select dividends so we can filter by dividends. And you guys can see the different dividends here. So we have Stereo Corp paid its dividend of 84 cents. VDY, obviously one of the bigger holdings, is going to pay the bigger dividends, right? $20. VDY, once again, from the personal account. There's two because we have the personal and the TFSA account. We have RioCan, H&R REIT, TD, some other dividend stocks have been paying us. Keep in mind, we made that big deposit towards the end of this month. So I think it was like the middle of this month. So we should see some bigger dividend payments starting next month because that big chunk of money I put in will start to reflect that. In fact, I kind of did a rough calculation, and I think we'll be getting about $100 from just VDY alone next month. So we'll see some big changes. But anyways, let's jump inside the spreadsheet. Let's take a peek how the income has grown over time with this portfolio. All right, so here's the dividend income for the portfolio, so you guys can see really how this portfolio has grown over time. I don't have the deposits. I got rid of it. Because it was getting really confusing for me to kind of track. So, you know, the deposits have we've had periods of time inside the portfolio. We've had tons of deposits. We have other periods of times where I had a little bit less. And then we had like deposits where we made some big transfers. So that's kind of natural. You're going to get times throughout your life where, you know, you're going to get more money than others. And that's perfectly normal. In fact, the past couple months, other than my big deposit, I haven't been putting a lot of money inside the portfolio because some things have been coming up, but that's perfectly normal to kind of experience. The whole point is consistency, right? Even if it's just a little bit of money every single month, try to put that inside the portfolio and your growth will reflect that. So you guys can see here that in the beginning, we started the portfolio in January of 2020, just 44 cents. First month, dividend income, 44 cents. Third month in March, $5.64. Fifth month in May, $12, and then it just kept increasing over time. We kept taking these dividends, we're reinvesting them, and keeps growing the portfolio. And one of the cool things I've been doing recently, since I started this dividend portfolio, was trying to live off my dividends. It's been a cool thing I've just been playing around with. It's been an update. I usually post a video about once a week where I show you guys, you know, different things I'm buying, different ways I'm kind of trying to get to the point where I'm living off my dividend income. So if you guys want to kind of see those videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel because I think they're really cool. They're really fun to do, and it's more like the frugal side of me coming out there if you guys want to check that out. And here's a cool little graph that you can see how the dividend income has been growing. So obviously when you look at the numbers like this, they're small numbers, they're not really big, but when you look at the actual growth here with the graph, you can see it's pretty consistent and it's pretty decent growth. So imagine, like, 2 or 3 years from now, 4 or 5 years, it just keeps growing like this. So all of a sudden you're making multiple $100s per month, and that's where the dividend income and the stock growth and stock appreciation really starts to add up. So that's a cool little graph for you guys. You guys can see how the dividend income has really grown on the channel over time. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I just mentioned previous, if you guys enjoyed this video, check out my how to invest in Canadian stocks for beginners video. That big video has a lot of great content in there. Once again, I'll put a link to an end screen towards the end of this video, and there will be a link in the comments section if you guys want to check that out, and in the description. So check that video out if you guys want. If you guys enjoyed this video, please sure to give it a big thumbs up. And remember guys, if you guys want to follow along with me on my journey as a Canadian-based investor, be sure to subscribe to the channel. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care, have yourself a good weekend, and I'll see you guys later.